You're listening to 8158 Stories of Sacrifice, where we honor the bravery of the first responders and the families who stand behind them. Real people, real stories, real heroes. This is 8158.
Today, we're honored to welcome Christy Butler, a woman whose life embodies love, resilience, and family devotion. Christy is a stay-at-home mom and grandma who wears many hats with grace. She cares for her children, her grandkids, and her mother, always putting family first. But beyond her role as the heart of her household, Christy is here to share a deeply personal story about her brother, Billy Butler Jr., a sheriff's deputy who gave his life in service to his community. Billy wasn't just Christy's brother, he was her best friend, her partner in crime growing up, and as she says, the other half of their love-hate sibling dynamic. Through the laughter, arguments, and everything in between, Billy was always there for her, a steadfast presence in her life. Christy's story is one of profound sibling love, the lessons Billy left behind, and how she keeps his memory alive while holding her family together. We're so glad she's joining us to share this journey. Welcome, Christy.
So what was it like growing up with Billy as your brother?
Growing up with my brother was a joke. He was always a jokester. I didn't just have him. My cousin also lived with us, so I had two brothers. And they always teamed up on me. Always. But I would be the one always getting in trouble because they blamed everything on me. So it was quite the challenge to grow up with two brothers. Yes.
Funny. Two boys getting in trouble, making your life miserable.
Yes.
The only girl in the family.
Oh, yeah. And to top it off, I was the only girl in the neighborhood.
Oh my gosh, that makes it even worse.
Yes.
Now the you were talking about George, right? That was the one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. When one didn't think of, the other one did.
Oh yeah, those two are two pieces.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So can you share a funny story or a memorable story about your childhood together with him?
Oh, the favorite one, I'm not going to say the favorite one, but the one that always sticks out. Uncle Rocky was babysitting us. We were not supposed to go outside, but he let us go outside anyways. We were over at the neighbor's house. Back then you had the swings set where you was two swings, two benches on the side, and you pushed it back and forth, and in the middle was the metal floor. Well, they wouldn't let me off. So I decided to stick my leg down in between and broke my bone in half. So I was in a cast for months and months. Grandma decided that she was going to get me a wheelchair. So what do these guys do? They take me to the top of the hill of Griswold, all the way to the top, and let me go. So here I am going down the hill in my wheelchair. Then not just that, but they like to stick worms down my cast. So I was the tortured one. Yeah.
Pranksters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned you had a love-hate relationship with Billy. What moments come to mind that showcase both sides of that dynamic?
It was my adult life. My brother played the role of my father that night. My oldest wrecked my truck that my brother had gotten for me, scolded me like I was his child. I thought that dad was bad. Oh no. Oh no. He yelled at me. I cried and cried and cried, but I had it coming because, I should have known better. But it didn't matter. My brother was always there for me, no matter what. I needed him. He'd be there. He helped me raise Alex when he was a baby, when his dad decided to leave us. He left me with nothing. My brother sent me money every week, every month to make sure that Alex had what he needed and what I needed. He was always there for me.
Even when he was overseas, he was
When he was overseas, it was hard because we talked, but I didn't get to see him leave when he went to go overseas. Everybody got to say their goodbyes. I had to stay back. So I didn't get to see my brother off. But it was good, nerve-wracking. I waited for the calls to come in to talk to him and to see how he was doing. But yeah, life with my brother was always fun. Yeah.
he was definitely a genuine soul, that guy.
Yes. Yes, he was. He would give you the shirt off his back for sure.
So how did your relationship with Billy evolve as you both grew up?
We were we were inseparable. Billy and I would, it was just him and I when we were younger. And we would, if we get in trouble, we'd be sent to our rooms, but it was okay because we all had, back then you had an Atari. So we had our Atari and we would just be quiet, and I would sneak in his room, and we'd go and we'd play games and whatever. But he was also my comfort zone. If I got scared or whatever at night, he would always say, "You can come and lay in here with me. You can come sleep with me." But it was like always having to jump the cracks so the floor wouldn't creak to get into his room. But yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and I was visiting you guys, you would always have to babysit. But there was one time that he and George had to watch, and I ended up stealing Billy's bike, going to that BMX track one day.
Yes.
And they were looking for me everywhere. They couldn't find me, but they found me at the track, and my brother was going to beat my butt.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Cause
But
yeah.
he said, "No, let me handle it." So
Yeah.
he said, "You having fun?" I was like, "Yeah." He put his arm around me. He goes, "I'm not mad that you stole my bike, but you should have told us where you were at."
Yep. Yep. That was, he always had to make sure he knew where you were because if something happened, he couldn't get to you.
Yeah, that was see, I was about 9, so he would have been about 13 at that time, somewhere around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So you would say that Billy was sort of your best friend growing up?
Yes. Yes. We
So
would, yeah. What one of us didn't think of, the other one did. And, let our mattress on fire, had all the good stuff that you're not supposed to do when you're growing, kids. But we thought of it, we did
all the dirty stuff.
it. Yeah.
So you shared something about your tough times with Billy, him taking care of you and Austin. Is there any other time, or what was it, Alex that he was
Yeah,
helping?
it was Alex.
Sorry about that. I got Austin and Alex. Um, is there any other time that he helped you out in some way, took care of you in your tough times?
I mean, he was always there. Always. I got in trouble one time with the law, one time only. And I got arrested. Mom was nowhere to be found, or she was on a youth group trip. Had called dad in the middle of the night. Of course, dad calls Billy. Billy's out of town. So here I am just sitting here, in jail. Never been in jail before. I'm not the troublemaker, nothing. But it's like I could always count on him. even if he wasn't there. I mean, and there was a time that we didn't talk for years, but it's like when we did start talking again, it was like right where we left off. Never skipped a beat.
Never ending. So, what did Billy teach you about life, family, or love that you carry with you today?
Family is very important. Without family, you have nothing. Without love with your family, you have nothing. Family is the number one key to life and love is your family. Because if you don't have your family, you have nobody. And you just, because if you don't have them, you have no one to turn to when you need something, or even if you don't need anything, even if you just, a shoulder to cry on. He was, always there. Didn't have to say anything. He was just there.
So he was your rock, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Comfort zone.
Yeah.
Now, how did Billy interact with your kids and your grandkids? What kind of an uncle was he? I mean, I already know, but just want to hear it from you.
Billy was a great uncle. When Austin was born, he was there when Austin was born. He'd come after work and see Austin every day. And just, he was always there, never missed a beat, nothing. And then when Alex was born, he wasn't there because we lived in two different states. He didn't meet Alex until I think Alex was 6 weeks old. And it was like Austin all over again. Always there, and when we would come up to visit, always playing with him. He'd come down, and when they came down to visit, he would, play with them, make funny faces. Always, Billy and his favorite, sticking his tongue out and the goofy faces and stuff. He was a very good uncle. And it's sad that, my kids don't get that because he was, the only uncle that he has, but they've got you.
Yeah.
So, but Billy will, and they have their memories with him.
Yeah, I'm still here. Even
Yep.
though I'm brother to you than your cousin, but
Yep. Yes, that you are.
I was a royal pain in your behind when I was a kid.
Yes, you were. But it was the test. It was the test of the challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just made us stronger because if like I said, without your family, you have really nobody to count on. And it doesn't matter if you guys fight and argue or don't talk for years. You're still there if you need them.
Was it worse?
Yeah, and that's one thing about our family. We're strong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, did Billy's work as a sheriff's deputy influence how your family viewed community and service? Let's also put his military record into that too, because he served for 20 years.
Yes. I mean, it was like the law enforcement and the military has always been a part of our family. Our grandparents were in the law enforcement. Almost all my uncles were in the military. So it's like natural. It's just a natural part of our family. It's just, natural growing up and being in law enforcement or, the military. It's like secondhand to us.
I remember Uncle Bill was in the Navy and the Army too, wasn't
he? No, he was in the Navy.
Okay.
Yep.
Navy, and then Billy was in the Army.
Yep. Yep.
So he followed in Uncle Bill's footsteps.
Yes. And, Billy had left a very strong, lasting impact on my kids. And especially with Alex. Alex wants to follow in his uncle's footsteps.
Wow.
So when he gets into high school next year, he will go to tech to start taking his classes to be in law enforcement.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah. So, and then his goal is to get on to the sheriff's department so they can have another Butler on their team.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to see that. I mean, the family legacy's got to remain.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, and I can't wait to see Alex again. Well,
Yeah. And he's, he once him, he puts his mind to something, he does it.
yeah,
So he's just like, all I want to do, Mom, is make Uncle Billy proud. I said, honey, you do, and you will.
make us all proud.
Yep. And that's what I told him. I said, no matter, even if you chose to go into the military, you're still making all of us proud, no matter what you decide to do.
We'll support him anyway.
Yep.
We love that little guy. So, what values does Billy share with you that you try to pass down to your children and grandchildren? I mean, your grandchildren are still pretty young, so
Yeah.
that be like,
Just because you're a tough guy and act like a tough guy, that's not a bad thing. It's not. But it's the respect that you have to give to them. You have to earn respect. And that's one big thing with my brother was respect. You lose your respect with him, you had to earn it back. And it wasn't going to be easy. And that's what he has left very impact on the kids. That you have to have that respect and trust is one of the big things. You have that, then you can do anything. Whatever you set your mind to, you can do it. But you always have to have that respect for others.
definitely, it's always important to give respect to earn respect,
Yep.
not the other way around.
That's one, yep. And that's one thing that you don't ever want to lose with somebody is their respect and their trust. Because once that's broken, it's very hard to get it back.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Definitely hard to get back, once you break somebody's trust, and it's hard for them to want to believe and trust in you.
Yes, that it is.
So, how did how do you keep Billy's memory alive in your daily life? I mean, I see you wear, back to blue, and you wear a thing.
Yes. Everything, my life has changed. I'm still trying to deal with the change, but I have more respect. I mean, I always had respect for the law enforcement, but now losing my brother has opened my eyes and shown me what my priority in life and what I'm supposed to do in life. And that is to keep honoring him and his name and to show that he is the hometown hero and he will always be the hometown hero. And to honor him, I have decided to open up my own online business for the military and law enforcement and first responders. So I can help families that have lost a family member.
Awesome. You're kind of doing like what I'm doing, is trying to help people,
Yes.
especially within that community, because it's important. And I think that a lot of our first responders are forgotten.
Yes, they are. They don't realize how important they are. And they need to be reminded that they are important. Without them, we can't really function. I mean, you can function, but they're there for your needs.
Right.
You know, you get hurt, whatever. They're the ones that are going to be the first ones to take care of you.
You know, and one thing a friend told me, he goes, you know, seeing a state trooper or a sheriff or a cop behind you is the last person you want to see, but they're the first person you want there to help you when you're in need.
Exactly.
You know? And of course, you don't want to see a cop behind you because you're worried they're going to pull you over. But if you ain't doing anything wrong, then you don't have nothing to worry about.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, please, believe me, I've had my fair share of tickets.
Oh,
Took it on the
me
chin.
too.
I just took it on the chin. It's like, okay,
Yeah, me too.
you got me. So, what's one thing you wish you could say to Billy today?
One thing I wish that I could say to my brother today is how much I love him and how proud of him I am. You don't realize what you have until it's gone. And that's the hardest part because you will never get that back. Cherish your loved ones while they're here. Don't ever take them for granted because you're not promised tomorrow. And don't hold grudges. You have a fight, make up with them because you don't know if you're ever going to see him again.
It's been hard on all of us. And I know Uncle Bill, he has his moments and his days. I sat and talked with him a little bit. We did have a few shots with Billy at his gravesite, and it's just, it was hard seeing Billy. Even at the visitation, you know, I held his hand and I was just totally in disbelief. I just,
It's still like a big old nightmare. I'm still stuck on 627.
yeah, I mean, it's a horrible date for all of us. But one thing Billy would like for all of us to do is to
It's
have,
the one. Yep. And it's the hard, and I'm trying because this isn't what he would want. He wouldn't want for us to sit here and dwell.
right, exactly.
And, it's just grief and grieving. You will never get over it. It will always be with you. You'll have your good days and you'll have your bad days. And you just have to take a step back and just breathe it and just let it all out.
You know, there was something that was because I had other interviews and I didn't realize because, you know, I always told myself, why Billy? Why did they have to hurt him? And I didn't realize that the other two deputies were young. They were
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah. He trained them.
So if that hadn't happened to him, he probably would have felt responsible and bared that weight. His
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So
And
he
he
basically sacrificed his life for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And he told them that he would always protect them and not let anything happen to them. And that's just my brother. That's how he was.
Guardian,
Yep.
peacekeeper, and a
Yeah.
peacemaker, I should say.
Yes. And I have to, I come to terms and I just keep telling myself that No, it was not. It was not fair. But it was his time to go. God needed him up there. It was his time. His time was over. He ended his journey. His journey was ended. It was at the end of his time, and his new journey was up there.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that I just can keep going, is knowing that God needed him. It's not that he didn't want him still here with us, but his time was up. It was his time to rest and to be taken care of.
Exactly. But he's still protecting us. He's watching.
Yes, always, always.
I tell you the story about what happened to me when I was on the road, about the power lines that crashed across.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt his presence. He kept telling me to slow down, back off, and I did. And as soon as I hit the brakes, the power lines come crashing down across the highway, and I missed it. And fortunately, I had enough presence of mind to stop the other person from flying by me, because they were gonna get involved in that wreck if I hadn't.
Yeah. And just like, last weekend, he was with me when I literally thought I was going to die. I had such a anxiety. They said it was an anxiety hyperventilating um stress attack, to where I just I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel them doing my IV, nothing. My blood pressure was so high that I'm surprised I didn't die. And if his picture was not etched into the dog tags, I would have rubbed him right off. And I just kept saying, I'm not ready to go. I was so scared. And I knew that, he was with me. And it was not my time to go. I had to be here for mom and dad.
They need you now more than ever.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm down here in Kentucky, so I'm not up there. I can't see guys as much as I used to.
And it's just, every day is a challenge with mom, but it's all right.
So if someone didn't know Billy, what would you want them to know about him as a person?
That if you ever needed anything or even needed advice, you could go to him and he would help you. No matter if he, didn't know you, he would direct you and steer you in the right direction, or where you needed to go if he couldn't help you.
Kind of a funny story. I remember we were over there for Thanksgiving, and Christopher, my brother, he was over there, and he was talking to Billy, and he goes, I was thinking of enlisting in the military. Do you think National Guard? Do you think they'll take me? And Billy looked right at him, and he goes, Burger King's hiring.
Yep. He was blunt. He would tell you exactly how it was.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's, he was a jokester, but he also was serious. He was never shy to tell you how it was.
Dead in his face.
Yeah.
Funniest thing I ever. I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah. Always like playing jokes on you or scaring you, and then his little snicker.
Yeah. So, what do you think Billy would say about how you have managed to take care of your family and honoring his legacy?
I would hopefully think that, that my brother would be proud of what I'm trying to do and to keep his legacy going. And I don't want to say that it takes a strong person to hold our family together of what we've gone through. It's definitely been a challenge, but he would be proud. And I just feel that this is where I need to be and to do this for him.
Yeah, we all
I
need.
don't ever want him to be forgotten for anything, because he was such a great man and brother, and everybody needs to know that they do, and that they don't need to like brush it off. Oh, well, he's not here, so he's here. He's still here, and he will always still be here.
Will remain.
Yep.
That's a definite. He ain't going anywhere, and we are spreading the word. And trust me, people will hear.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say about Billy before we end? We have about 8 minutes.
Just, don't ever take life for granted, because my brother never did. No matter if it put his life in jeopardy, he was always there to protect. And that's one thing about him. Yeah, he, lived by, I don't want to say strict, but yeah, sometimes he was, but he got the point crossed, and you would never forget that, and his kindness. He was a very strong person and will be greatly missed, but he will never be forgotten.
That he will not.
No. As long as I'm alive and my kids and his kids are alive and all of us, he will never. He will always live on.
Yeah, I think that even past our days, he will continue to live on.
Yes. Yes. You might not think that he's there, but he is always there, watching and protecting us.
Yeah, he was definitely a very kind, genuine soul. He had to play the hard knocks.
Yeah.
Also had a heart.
Yes, he did. He did. He did. He had a very big heart.
And I wish, I know one time he was asking me if I wanted to work out with him, but our schedules didn't match up. He was working out at 5 in the morning, and I had to be at work at 5 in the morning. And I wish that I would have been able to spend that time with him. And that is my biggest regrets, because that would have been some very important time to spend with your cousin.
Yeah. I wish I had more one-on-one time and brother and sister time than what we did. The older we got, we really didn't have it, but I always knew that that he was always there.
Yeah.
And, even going to the house, spending time with the kids, going over and baking or whatever. It's just, he knew, he'd call, "Hey sis, I need some cookies." "Okay, I'll bake you your cookies." Yeah, and I was just telling Mom, I said, "I got Christmas baking almost done." I said, "But I have one more cookie I have to make." I said, his favorite, no bake cookies. Yep.
Yeah.
It's been it's these holidays. Once we got through Thanksgiving, just got to get through Christmas and then his birthday. But we got this, because we are Butler strong.
Yep. very proud of you for having the courage to come on here. I know it's
It
difficult,
took a lot.
but like I said, just remember you're talking to me, but you're telling your story, and other people are going to hear this story, and they are going to remember Billy's legacy, not just his, but they're going to honor his legacy and other first responders. And that's what this is all about. We're about, honoring him, 8158, and we're also here to honor fire, EMS, dispatch, anybody that has anything to
Right.
do with saving people's lives and putting their lives at risk to help other people in need. That's what we're here to do. And this is how we're going to honor his legacy.
Yes.
And to be honest, if this hadn't happened, I wouldn't be doing this. I had to step outside of my comfort zone
Yeah.
to do this. I'm not a very social person.
I'm not either. And then for me to step out of my comfort zone to want to open up this business and to do this is taking a lot. But I know it's something that I don't want to say something that I need to do. It's something that I want to do for him, to help others and to be able to be there for them. And if I could get a job with Tunnels of Towers or Wounded Warriors, I would.
Well, you could just do the best you can and do what you can when you can. Don't
Yeah.
overwork yourself. You'll figure it out. You'll figure out the best way possible to do that. You will.
Just got to be there for your family too.
Yep.
Take care of those, because without them, you have nothing.
Exactly. And, you and Uncle Bill and Aunt Cindy, my dad, and you guys are pretty much the only family I have left other than my
Yes.
brothers and stuff like that. But, we'll stick together. We'll be strong, and we
Yep.
will continue to, honor Billy's memory and build a legacy for him.
Yep. And without you, I don't know if I could do it, because you're not just my cousin, you're my brother. And you were there when I needed you the most. You let me come down because you knew I wasn't sleeping, and let me come and stay just so I could rest.
I'm always here for you, cousin. I love you.
I know, I love you too.
Just stay strong.
I'm trying. It's all I can do.
You're going to be just fine. And I'm just a phone call away if you ever want to come down and get some rest. We're
Yeah.
6 hours south.
Yep. This is easy peasy.
Yeah. Not like going down to Georgia or something like that.
Right. Easy peasy.
Straight
But
that's 35.
Yep.
We could take 127. It'll get to our house anyway.
Yeah. But it's always nice to know that you have a place to go in time of need. And you don't even have to ask or explain why you need to. Doors are always open, and that's what the true meaning of family is.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get off here. I love you, cuz.
I love you too.
Take care. Be strong.
You too. Mwah.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on 8158 Stories of Sacrifice. Every story we share is a tribute to the courage and resilience of first responders and their families. If this episode has impacted, encouraged, or inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who supports first responders. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Truth Social at 8158 Podcast for updates. Remember to visit our website, www.8158podcast.com, for questions, collaborations, or to share your story, our email address is contactus@8158podcast.com. Until next time, let's continue to honor their legacies and remember their sacrifices that protect us all. This is Rico signing on and honoring 8158.